these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain and unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are some of the most founding words of our country, but what do they actually mean? Written mostly by Thomas Jefferson and edited by Ben Franklin and other brilliant minds at the time, the Declaration of Independence was written to formally announce our freedom, or our being America's freedom from Great Britain. The reason for writing it was after hundred plus years of oppression from the British in the colonies. The American colonists were fed up with the British overwhelmingly ruling, and throughout the years the British have gotten more and more oppressive in their rule, and taxes and a ton of other military problems. So the America's colonists were fed up, and so the leaders or upcoming leaders of it wrote the Declaration of Independence to declare freedom. And the opening lines of it, the quote I read, it sounds really cool and is one of the most founding words of our country, is more of a goal where our country wanted to be, not where our country started. Here's why. We hold these truths to be self-evident. What Thomas Jefferson is saying is that the truths that he's going to lay out in the Declaration are so inherently obvious and so true that nobody in the world can deny it because of their truth value. It's just inherently obvious. That all men are created equal. Now, in today's modern world, this line has lots of controversy because of all of the racial and gender issues. All men created equal. The Stanford historian Jack Rakove has a quote on this. When Jefferson wrote "All men are created equal" in the preamble to the Declaration, he was not talking about individual equality. What he really meant was that the American colonists as a people had the same rights of self-government as other peoples, and hence could declare independence, create new governments, and assume their separate and equal station among other nations. But after the Revolution succeeded, Americans began reading the famous phrase another way. It now became a statement of individual equality, that everyone and every member of a deprived group could claim for himself or herself. With each passing generation, our notion of what that statement covers has expanded. It is the promise of equality that has always defined our constitutional creed. So what historian Jack Rakove is saying in this is that the whole individual equality that the people are interpreting today is not the way it was written. Britain, the way the government worked, it was a very huge hierarchy model. I mean, there was the king, and there was parliament, and there was tons of other classes in between. But like if you were in the poor class, you couldn't interact with the upper classes. It was a very structured, each form of government just getting higher and higher. But like there was always someone on top. There was always someone there who was better than everyone or viewed as more powerful. What Thomas Jefferson was trying to express is that America is not like that, and everyone in America is created equal. And obviously, there's going to be a person in power, but they are not higher than the other in social status. They're all equals in America. And all of the other controversy with the whole like equality and all movements, the Americans, what Jefferson's saying is basically that they're all equal. There's no hierarchy. And then that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What Jefferson, so these things are not a law, so they are not legally binding, which is a little bit confusing, and there's been some cases in the past few decades about this, but the pursuits of life, liberty, and happiness are not laws. It is not a right to an American citizen to have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It is more of a political and moral ideal, more of like a moral concept that Jefferson was proclaiming is an ideal in America. You cannot kill someone and go to the judge and say, "Your Honor, I just killed a man. I put a bullet to his head, pulled the trigger, and now he's dead for the pursuit of happiness." You cannot do that, because the pursuit of happiness, Thomas Jefferson, he did not mean like do what makes you happy, yay, all that stuff. He wanted the country to be built on life, liberty, and pursuit as an ideal, as like a good thing to be doing, not a law. You do not pursue happiness as a law. You're not having any right in that. And then so in conclusion, the American document, the Declaration of Independence, the opening lines of it are more of a ideal of where America wanted to be, not where it actually started, because like we see with the all men created equal, that was definitely an ideal they were hoping for, that Jefferson was hoping for, because I mean, all men are created equal, that was the founding lines of this country. And then for 100+ years, black people were not viewed as a full citizen. For 200+ years, almost, women were not allowed to vote. Obviously, like, how is a country founded on all men equal have all of those tensions of equality? And that's where this is definitely a goal of where Jefferson wanted to be, not where he started. Thank you.